We are honored to have you, Mr. Us, for delivering this very prestigious lecture today.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank
It's
you.
a great honor for the University of Delhi and Department of History. So nice of you to have a great.
Good morning, Professor Sunil.
नमस्कार सर.
नमस्कार.
नमस्कार.
जी, सुनील जी.
नमस्कार सुनील.
Parmar, are you in India or outside India right now?
I'm in New York, sir.
Yes. Okay. How is everything there now?
सर यहाँ तो अब ऑलमोस्ट नॉर्मल है, सब कुछ खोल दिया है, मास्क भी ऑप्शनल कर दिया है, लगाएं ना लगाएं.
बहुत अच्छा. इसका मतलब वैक्सीनेशन काफी ज्यादा हो गया.
अब तो सर ऐसा है कि वैक्सीनेशन तो बुला के लगा रहे हैं, इतने अवेलेबल हैं, कुछ लोग रिलक्टेंट हैं लेने के लिए. तो लेकिन वैक्सीनेशन से बहुत फर्क पड़ा है, हिंदुस्तान में भी पड़ा है और यहाँ भी.
नहीं, वैक्सीनेशन इज वेरी important. बहुत जरूरी है.
That's the key. And everywhere, wherever there has been vaccination, there has been confidence among the population, and things have been very.
थर्ड वेव के पहले मुझे लगता है कि 50-60% वैक्सीनेशन हो जाए तो काफी फर्क पड़ेगा इंडिया में.
मेरे विचार से 80% होना जरूरी है.
60% तो कम से कम हो जाना चाहिए.
अगर हम इस बार का डाटा देखें, जो सेकंड वेव में डॉक्टर्स की कैजुअलिटी फर्स्ट के कंपैरिजन में काफी कम थी, क्योंकि वो वैक्सीनेशन हो चुका था. अदरवाइज बहुत ज्यादा कैजुअल्टी होती है.
अदरवाइज ज्यादा होता है. इस बार कम हुआ है.
इंडिया में भी समझे 25% तो हो ही गया है वैक्सीनेशन. मुझे लगता है जैसे 22 करोड़ या 23 करोड़.
सुनने में आया 3% जो डॉक्टर्स सेकंड वेव में जिनको वैक्सीनेशन था, सिर्फ 3% कैजुअलिटी हुई है. 3%. कोविड तो पहले Madam, I think it's time.
Yes, sir.
It's time. I think 11. हो गया.
We can start. Professor.
Okay.
Sir, Kaveri is the convener of our organic section, and he is the host actually.
Okay. So let's start. Permission है VC sir की और मैडम की. Okay. So good morning.
Good morning.
आदर, अभिनंदन और आभार. I will start with a classic thought by the poet Robert Frost. He said, "Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference." These lines meant that you have to stand out, do something unique, make path-breaking contributions to be remembered. And so are the memorial lectures. I am Srirangam Kukreti, who feels himself blessed to be a teacher of DU Chemistry Department. Honorable VC Professor P.C. Joshi, respected Professor Rita Kakkar, our head of the department, Professor Ramesh Chandra, our previous head, our super animated respected professors, Professor Parmar, Professor J.M. Corona, and others, my senior colleagues, Professor R K Sharma, Professor Ashok Prasad, and my other esteemed colleagues and dear students pursuing their PhD and MSc degree from this department. It's an honor and privilege for me to extend a very warm and hearty welcome to one and all joining me and my esteemed colleagues today on this virtual platform of Delhi University. Since the occasion is of a memorial lecture, we have gathered here to remember a scientific giant, a simple life devoted to science, R Seshadri. He once said, "Money and material alone do not secure good research. They are only adjuncts, and it is the human element behind them that matters." So this is important to remember. So memorial lectures have been the annual feature of our department, We had Professor R.P. Mitra Memorial Lecture on 11th March, delivered by Professor Dipankar Chatterjee of ISC Bangalore. And then special inorganic chemistry lecture on 6th April by Professor V. Chandrasekhar of TIFR Hyderabad. Professor R Seshadri Memorial started in 1981. And the first R Seshadri Memorial lecture was delivered by Dr. Nityanand. Some of the other speakers have been Professor Ashima Chatterjee, Professor P. Balram, Professor S. Ranganathan, Govardhan Mehta, S. Chandrasekharan, K.N. Ganesh, Professor Ganesh Pandey, V.S. Chauhan, Javed Iqbal, Professor Basavaiya, and Professor T.K. Chaturvedi. So there is a long list of eminent speakers who have been there. And we are really privileged to have Professor Maya Sankar Singh in that line from BHU, who will make us aware of his research and his basic findings. So before we start the proceedings, it is said that without God's praises, everything in this world is complete. So let's light the lamp for enlightening our spirits, spreading Almighty's grace and divine energy in the surrounding. So I'll just play a small video which I prepared for the occasion. This is just to remember God and the kind soul of R Seshadri. So I think I have to share it.
You have to present now.
Okay. Please bear with me. Please bear with me. Please bear with me for a second. Present now. I have to share. Yeah. Is the share one? Which one is this? The sharing one?
Present now.
Pardon?
Present नीचे है ना?
Camera option.
On the right hand side bottom.
Please. It is there. Yeah.
Then you share. Is it in a window or a tab?
Yes. I'm done. Yeah, I'm done now.
Or else you have to call your daughter.
I'm done, sir.
Yeah, now it's.
तमसोमा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति हसतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति 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 हसतो मा गमय तमसो मा
Lead me from the unreal to the absolute truth. Lead me from the darkness to light. Lead me from the death to immortality. In the name of eternal. Let there be peace. Peace.
हसतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
So may our parents and teachers become everlasting source of light to us in the form of knowledge and their teachings. Okay, we all are very happy here to see our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor P.C. Joshi. We really thank him for sparing some time for us from his minute-to-minute schedules to become a part of chemistry fraternity. Professor Joshi is actually a product of Delhi University. He recently, just 4 or 5 days back, he superannuated from the Department of Anthropology as a professor, and he has been working on social anthropology, and his area of specialization has been medical anthropology. Besides his academic achievements, he has shown himself as a wonderful administrator in last few months, and university is really happy to see him there. I would just tell you a few lines. Somebody had said that मुझे मालूम है कि कि यहाँ तक आते आते सूख जाती हैं सब नदियाँ, मुझे मालूम है कि पानी कहाँ ठहरा हुआ होगा. So I think Professor Joshi knew that where was the water stuck, and then everything went through and things are going so well. I need not to elaborate on that. So with this, I invite Professor Joshi to address us and talk a few minutes of his visit. Thank you, sir. Please.
Thank you very much, Professor Srirangam ji, for inviting me. I'm indeed obliged and feel grateful to this great department. And I would like to thank Professor Rika Kakar that she brought me to be a part of this great program. In fact, I would like to thank Professor Maya Shankar Singh, who is going to deliver this prestigious lecture, and his title of lecture is The Wonderful Chemistry, and calling a subject as wonderful means how greatly he has understood chemistry that he is calling it as wonderful. For me, it was a scary subject at one point of time. But anyway, I'm also, I would like to thank Professor Parmarji, who has been a pillar and has been a very stalwart, and also Jitendra Khuranaji. Both of them are very well-known name. But I think I would like to start by saying that what Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya was to BHU, Sir Maurice Goyer was to Delhi University. And like Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya used to go around looking for great people, including S.S. Bhatnagar, and he would request them to come, although he did not have much to offer to them, but then he would request them to come, and this is how he collected the, जिसको हम कहते हैं नगीने, जगह-जगह से नगीने लेके आए. Similarly, I think we must admire the capacity and capability and devotion of Sir Maurice Goyer to the University of Delhi. He got people like R Seshadri, T.S. Kothari, Professor Bhatia, Professor Maheshwari, V.K.R.V. Rao, Nagendra. You just name Gopichand Naran. Just name people, he got these great gems from different places and brought them here. M.N. Srinivas. They are all legends. They were not professors. All of them were institutions. They are not individuals. They were great institutions. And one of the great institutions that we have in science faculty, of course, was Kaveri. And I think I would like that these people like R Seshadri, they're immortal. They never die. They live through their ideas. They live through their work. They live through the creations that they made. They live through what they made, Delhi University Chemistry Department, which is, I think, one of the foremost department in the world, and producing such high quality research year after year. And we have got, again, legendary people in chemistry department. All the teachers that we have in chemistry department, they are all legendary. They are all world-known, world-renowned experts in their field. And I think it's a great tradition that has been started, that you remember your founders. R Seshadri was like a founder of the chemistry department. He is the one who was synonymous with chemistry department. Chemistry department, R Seshadri are like synonyms. T.S. Kothari, physics department are synonyms. Maheshwari and botany are till today synonyms. So I think I consider myself to be very lucky that the chemistry department thought me to be also a part of this great occasion, this great remembrance. And although I don't know much about chemistry, I think Professor Maya Shankar Singh, who is a well-known authority, he is an FNA, and I think a very great scholar from BHU, definitely enlightened chemistry students and teachers and professors with his new researches that he is known for. So I would like to once again welcome our invited guests and also congratulate once again the Department of Chemistry for thinking of, for remembering these great personalities so that we all can learn and emulate even little bit of their ideas that they have given us. I think our life will be much better. With these words, I thank all of you and that you gave me a chance.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Joshi. Professor Joshi is a real Gandhian also. I have heard him at Gandhi Bhavan, and he's the one who says that each individual has the strengths and the weaknesses, but one has to see the positive side of the person and go ahead. Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words and enlightening us. Thank you. Okay, with this, now it is the time to invite Professor Rita Kakkar, our dear head of the Department of Chemistry, and she joined the department as a head when she had many challenges and too many things were really piled up. And I see a smile on my colleague's face when they all are promoted now, happy and looking forward for the bright future, bright and better future. So जो पानी रुका हुआ था वो पानी भी चल पड़ा है. So thank you, ma'am, for really taking care of your colleagues, and at the same time, whatever time you got, you are also taking care of the department, and many things you are doing single-handedly. We really thank you from the bottom of our heart. And now I request Professor Rita Kakkar to speak a few words as opening remarks of the R Seshadri Memorial. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Professor Kukreti, and thank you so much for your kind words. As we all know, that there are two occasions that the department celebrates, two academic events that we celebrate. One is the birth anniversary of Professor R.P. Mitra, and that is hosted by the physical chemistry section, and the second one is the Professor R Seshadri Memorial Lecture, which is to honor our so-called founder of the chemistry department. He joined the department somewhere in the 1940s, and I think chemistry department became synonymous with his name. Because I joined as a first-year student in 1972. His mark was everywhere. I mean, he was not there at that time, I think, but everyone spoke about him. So, I mean, he was such a respected and revered person that you just could not escape knowing about his name. People were all the time talking about him. Professor Seshadri, ye karte the, wo karte the. And you can see the amount of respect that he has gained. There are 99 people who have joined. And we have, all the time I was just admitting people. And now we can only have 100. So those who want to join and cannot join or have been removed, please, you can join via the YouTube link. So this is being broadcast live on YouTube also. So people can join there. And coming to this, this particular event, I think it was jinxed from the start. We were able to host the Mitra Memorial Lecture somewhere in January, I think. And that time the situation was okay. We could host it in the hybrid mode. Then things became better. So we thought we'll have the Seshadri Memorial Lecture in the physical mode. And I want to place on record that Professor Maya Shankar Singh has been so cooperative. Thrice we had to postpone it, and all the time he was so supportive. Pehle kya hua, we fixed it, I think, way back in March. We thought things will improve by April. So we thought we'll have it in the physical mode. And sir, I want to tell you that whenever we have these functions, we normally have lunch with the speaker. The entire faculty meets the speaker. And it is a, joyous event that we talk about chemistry, good chemistry. And Professor Kukreti has already read out the names of some of the speakers. They are some of the who's who of organic chemistry. So it is a matter of pride to be invited for this lecture. It is an honor to be invited, and we are honored to have you, that you accepted in spite of all the problems that we are facing now. And then in April, when we had fixed, suddenly Professor Kukreti fell ill. Now he wrote to me twice. You can ask the other organic chemistry teachers. There are so many professors in the department. They can host it in my place. I said, no, you've done everything. You've prepared the invite. You have decided how to go about it. I will not have anyone else doing it. We'll wait for you to get well. Before he got well, there were other organic chemistry teachers, one by one. Every day I was getting a message. Today I have tested positive. So it just kept on getting postponed. And now we are in a situation that it is almost impossible to host a even hybrid mode. The Mitra Memorial Lecture was in a hybrid mode. A few of us were there. In fact, for this, I had got the lamp also. I had borrowed the lamp from my hospital. It was kept there that we'll do it in a physical mode or at least a hybrid mode, but that did not materialize because suddenly the situation is so bad. People are afraid to come. So, and rightly so, because once you get it, it is really terrible. This particular second wave has been very, very um, horrible. So I will not take more of your time because we have some senior teachers of the department who had interaction with Professor Seshadri. Sadly, I never had any interaction with him, although I had interaction with his students and Professor VVS Murthy was head of the department when I joined as a first year student. He used to teach a first year class, first year BSc class, and he used to talk about Professor Seshadri. And he used to talk about general, awareness in chemistry. Those lectures, I don't know, we were blessed to have teachers who were so great. Um, and without taking more of your time, I will request the senior teachers who knew him, personally knew him, to tell us a little about, because such people inspire others. So when the students learn about those teachers, I think they will be inspired to work like him. So thank you so much, Professor Kukreti, for handling this, for working very hard. I know day before yesterday at 1 o'clock, I am always awake, but you were also awake and sending me messages, the finally invite and so on. And thank you so much for your
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. You are always smiling and kind. Wonderful. Okay, so before we start the real proceedings, this is the time to read and to know the life sketch of Professor T. R. Seshadri. So I'll just read it, which I gathered from the informations available in the literature. Thiruvenkata Rajendra Seshadri, popularly known as TRS, was born on February 3, 1900 in a small village of Kulithalai, located on the banks of river Kaveri near Tiruchirappalli. This February was his 121st birth anniversary. His father was a school teacher. He had his early education in temple towns of Srirangam and Tiruchirappalli. Coming from the modest background, his early education was assisted by Ramakrishan mission, to which he had lifelong attachment and respect. He then joined Presidency College, Madras, and did BSc honors in chemistry. After completing his master's from University of Madras, he was selected for an overseas scholarship from Madras Government and got an opportunity to work with Sir Robert Robinson, a well-known name, at the University of Manchester. He worked there on new antimalarial drugs and synthesis of anthocyanins, and finally obtained his PhD. Some of his contemporaries at Manchester during this period were Alexander Todd, Wilson Baker, and K. Venkataraman. All of them later became organic chemists of the century. In 1929, he also spent some time in the laboratory of Austrian Nobel laureate Fritz Tregel at Graz and learned quantitative organic macroanalysis. He returned to India in 1930 and took up an appointment at the Agriculture Research Institute, Coimbatore, where he began his studies in plant chemistry. In 1934, he joined Andhra University and accepted headship of the department, where he established a prime center of research of flavonoids and related compounds. It was 1949 when visionary Sir Maurice Goyer at Delhi invited him to join Delhi University as a professor and head of the chemistry department. In a very short time, with minimal resources here, from scratch, he established a school of chemistry of natural products with special attention to terpenoids, alkaloids, and quinoids. Initially, his research team included postdocs from France, Germany, and England. Professor Seshadri's research has been very extensive, and at that time, his whole group worked under difficult circumstances. He established one of the largest and major school of organic chemistry in the country. His research interests were primarily concentrated on plant and lichen products and their synthesis. The structural types included flavonoids, quinoids, terpenes, dipsides, and deoxyribonucleases and other, in general, other types of polyphenolics. He trained 160 PhD students and published more than 1,000 papers and 2 books, namely Chemistry of Vitamins and Hormones and Advancement of Scientific and Religious Culture in India. A compilation of Seshadri's publication is available in the library of Indian National Science Academy, where he was the president. In recognition of his work, he received numerous honors, which included the FRS, FNA, Bhatnagar Medal, and Padma Bhushan, and honorary doctorates of several universities worldwide. He was president of Indian National Science Academy and was responsible in initiating Indo-Soviet collaboration in the area of chemistry of natural products, including their pharmacology. The Department of Chemistry of University of Delhi was him for the creation of Center for Advanced Studies in Chemistry of Natural Products in 1963, which was subsequently enlarged to include other areas as well. University's first emeritus professor, Professor Seshadri, continued to teach and guide research students even after his retirement, an aspiring and Indian scientist and a great teacher he was. In his presidential address once at Hyderabad, at Indian Science Congress, he stressed on the role of universities at the research centers and nation builders and asserted that 2 functions could be molded with their regular teaching functions. He also emphasized the moral conditioning of the scientific mind so as to utilize science and its results in a constructive manner. Seshadri held that science and spirituality were perfect compatible and both were indispensable for the evolution of human life. During his lifetime, Professor Seshadri declined numerous lucrative offers in terms of power, authority, status, and material benefits. He remained humble, aspiring, and a highly respected teacher till the end of his life. Last 3 years of his life, he battled heart problems. Professor Seshadri breathed his last on September 27, 1975. Sir, all we have now is your memories, your legacy, and your picture in a frame. We do homage to this most sincere scientist of unsellable integrity, a brilliant and devoted teacher, a generous human being who belonged proudly to Department of Chemistry, University of Delhi. So this was the legacy, and it is really wonderful that I mean, one of his students is with us, and he did PhD in 1978, and as I just told, he worked on polyphenolics. I'm talking about Professor B.S. Parmar, our respected and dear teacher and superannuated professor. He has, I think, more than 40 years of teaching experience. I don't know exactly how long was he here in department. Professor Parmar will elaborate on that, but it's really wonderful that he's with us today. I have been, with him for last 1 or 2 months, but then there was a gap because I was down with COVID, but he had patience and he waited for me, I think, and things finally went well. So I request Professor Parmar to speak about his interactions and legacy about Professor T. R. Seshadri. Please, Professor Parmar.
Hello, good afternoon, and namaskar, everyone. It is so good to see my colleagues and friends after a gap of more than 2 years, and the conditions all around have not allowed us to see each other, but I'm so glad to see most of you live on the screen and share our greetings. I'm very fortunate. Thank you very much, Professor Rita Pakkad, the department, and Professor Srirangam and the convener of the organic chemistry section of the department, to please ask me to be part of this lecture today. It is my great privilege and honor, really a singular honor, to say anything about the great teacher and mentor, Professor R Seshadri. Maybe I think we do not have people senior to me who retired from the department in the organic chemistry section or even otherwise. Maybe they can tell more than me about the great Professor Seshadri. Because I was fortunate to have seen him for 10 years. I remember, and I should have first said thank you to Professor Joshi, our Vice Chancellor. He said high words about me. Thank you, sir, very much, Professor Joshi, VC sir, for that. And Professor Seshadri, I joined the department in 1965 as first year BSc honors student. And I was hardly 17 years old at that time. And so were most of the people in the class. And you can imagine that how you take things at such a young age, particularly when you come from a school and a small place, and to come to a large chemistry department in Delhi University, which is a great institution. But still, people started talking about, we used to see Professor Seshadri walking in the department, and all of us, even first year BSc honors students, we used to stand still. Though we knew that he doesn't know us, but still out of respect and what we heard about him, within a few days of our joining the department. And my real interaction with him started when I took organic chemistry as special after our BSc honors. In 1969, one of the papers on reagents and name reactions that Professor Seshadri used to teach us. And he was a great teacher, a great knack of teaching and making us understand. But then towards the last 3 months or about maybe 10 weeks of the year, he assigned one topic to each student. There were 20 BS in the organic chemistry special section, and one topic of a reaction or a reagent. I still very clearly remember that he assigned me an diazomethane. And I want to share with you the great, he was so busy, going through all the manuscripts. And still I gave him my prepared presentation on 2 pieces of paper, 2 sheets of paper. And he said, you see me tomorrow at 11. You can take it back and I will give my comments. I went with great fear to his room, office, which is presently the office of the head of the department. And at 11, my 2-sheet write-up was given to me with a lot of his comments in very legible English. And then he told me 5 minutes he spent with me to explain what he had mentioned on the paper. So that was first interaction. And then Professor Kaveri said me when he wrote me that I should join this lecture and say on 2 points, the legacy of Professor R Seshadri and my interactions with him. So if I can have my presentation, I know there are a lot of students, maybe research scholars of the department or MSc students. And I don't know, I never used Google Meet. Only once one Professor Sridhar Sharma asked me to give a talk. So I'll try to load my presentation and show it to you. Is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, it is visible, sir.
great. So the legacy of Professor R Seshadri, for those students, I know many of our colleagues, as Professor Rita Kakkad has said, that she heard a lot about him from some teachers and senior members of the department. For the benefit of the present young faculty of the department, as well as the students of the department, he was a highly accomplished person as a scientist. We call him fondly, and rightly so, father of our department. But people also, rightly so, call him the father of Indian science also. And I will share with you very briefly what is written on his accomplishments. And I will tell my interactions with him through 6 years, 1969 to 1975, when sadly he expired and breathed his last on 27 September 1975. He was trained, as Professor Kukreti has said, by two great Nobel laureates, Professor Sir Robert Robinson at the University of Manchester. Later, Professor Robert Robinson moved to the University of Oxford, and Professor Robinson got Nobel Prize for his contribution to synthetic organic chemistry, particularly synthesis of alkalides. And then Professor Seshadri, after finishing his PhD, spent half a year or so with Professor Dr. Fritz Pregel. I don't know, maybe the young students who are here in your BSc Honors first year, or now even in high school, +2 courses, you learn about the elemental composition of organic compounds. The estimation of carbon and hydrogen is done in Pregel's tube. And Fritz Pregel was the one who really devised that analytical tool to know the composition of an organic compound with respect to carbon and hydrogen. And Professor Seshadri did a brief postdoc with him after finishing his PhD with Sir Robert Robinson. And Fritz Pregel also got Nobel Prize, and later on from Graz University, Austria, he moved to ETH Zurich in Switzerland, which is a very world well-known institute. Professor Seshadri, because of his great contributions, was admitted to the Royal Society of Chemistry. Perhaps he was the very first one or very first few in India to have been, in free India, to have been admitted to the Royal Society of London. So I think there is a great honor at that time in 1960, more than 60 years ago, because of his contributions to chemistry, he was admitted to the Royal Society of London or UK. Then he was awarded the third highest civilian award of the Government of India, Padma Bhushan, in 1963. At DU, as Professor Kukreti has said, he was invited to be professor and head of the department, and he started, I think, the PhD program. I am mistaking me, the first PhD of the Department of Chemistry was awarded under the supervision of Professor R Mitra, again a great stalwart and great teacher of the department, whose life and legacy we celebrate also. Or R Seshadri, or at the same time, the first PhD of the department, and I am told maybe of the University of Delhi, was awarded under their supervision. And it continued active service up to 1965. And then he became emeritus professor and continued his research up to 75 when he died. I will say a few things on the sad day when he died. It was 27th September. I still remember on the 25th of September, 2 or 3 of us who were doing research under his supervision went to see him in GB Pant Hospital. And he recognized us, though he was not in a good shape. And he was still on his bedside, a PhD thesis and a research paper were lying, and he was going through them. Such was the dedication of this great man. And that inspired us, particularly me, that I tried to work hard and emulate him in my stay in the department, which Professor Kukreti mentioned. I stayed in the department as a faculty between 1984 and 2013 for 29 years. Though my association with the department has been as a PhD student, as a BSc and MSc student, since 1965. So we can say 48 years of my association, out of which I had closely seen Professor Seshadri for 10 years. Before that, he spent at Andhra University between 1932 to 1948. In all, he published close to 1,300 research papers and supervised the work of close to 200 PhD students. And I was the last one. Me and Professor S.C. Jain, if he's in the room or in the session, he would agree with me that we used to go very often to Professor Seshadri when we passed out MSc in 1970. We want to do research. I'm telling another aspect of Professor Seshadri's character as a teacher. He said nobody has done PhD part-time with me. So you either leave your job. We got a job, teaching job, because of our high ranks in BSc Honors and MSc. I got in St. Stephen's and Subhash Jain got in KM College. So we said our condition, we have to help our families. We cannot leave the job. He said, okay, then you should be around for 2 years. I want to see how serious you are. And then after that, 1973, he registered us. In 75, he died. So I finished my PhD with Dr. G. R. Nagarajan. So that is the legacy of the and more than 40% of the teachers of the department, when we were students and later on I was faculty, were trained by him. And this is the picture of Professor Seshadri in color. We call him Guru. We all know in the Indian context what Guru means. So it is not only the people he trained, the number of people he trained, number of publications he made, but the contribution to the department. This is the central building of the department, heart of the department, the old building, which is a heritage building now. And in the right-hand corner on my screen, it is the head of the department's office. That was Professor TR's office. It remained his office till his death. Then he really contributed to the development of the department, new block of the department, in which we have offices of Professor Rita Kakkad, Professor Ramesh Chandra, and many other colleagues. A two-story building that was made in mid-50s, again by the efforts of Professor Seshadri. Then the multi-story building, which houses a large number of our present faculty and research labs, that was again built by Professor Seshadri's great efforts in late 60s and early 70s. And now we have the building, which you look at the back of this old building, which we tried to build in his honor and name it as Professor R Seshadri Block. So the building is now, I am told, is now under occupation. So it is great. And so all these buildings, the human power research programs, they were all initiated by Professor Seshadri in the department, in the university, and in India. So he brought the chemistry and the science research on the world map by his dedicated efforts. Now, my interactions, as I said, I started my PhD with him, and I saw Professor Seshadri and tried to emulate what he did. In my career of close to 50 years now, I have continuously been teaching and doing research at different places, even after my retirement at the University of Delhi from the department, with which I have great love and admiration and attachment still. So I spent close to 48 years at the University of Delhi from July 1965 to November 2013. Presently, I am at the City University of New York, one of the senior colleges, Medgar Evers College, which is written at one of the emblems. Then I spent quite some time. The University of Delhi allowed me to spend 6 years at the University of Massachusetts Lowell, and presently I have affiliation also with the Institute of Advanced Sciences in Dartmouth, Massachusetts. So in between, I had time to spend as a postdoc, visiting scientist at Cornell University, Harvard University, MIT, NYU Poly, and Imperial College London, University of Basel, University of Southern Denmark, University of Leuven, and University of Ghent in Belgium. And by humble contributions, we could bring grants of close to $11 million, close to about 8 crore of rupees to the department and to the university from different organizations within the country, all the funding agencies, DST, DBT, CSIR, DSIR, ICMR, and then the Danish agencies, German agencies, and the US companies like ISIS Pharmaceuticals and PPG Industries to pursue research in different areas. We were fortunate to establish, this is a message to young students who are still doing research and those who are to come for research. You must establish collaborations, and we were lucky to establish and sustain collaborations with 26 research groups in 15 countries over the last 30 years or so, and able to publish a good number of papers, about 506, and have some patents also. Research areas that we diversified from the natural products in which I was trained with Professor TRS to material sciences, to synthetic heterocyclic chemistry, nanotechnology, biotechnology, biocatalysis, and medicinal chemistry. So 51 PhD students, 14 MPhil students, and 20 postdoctoral workers, students worked in our extended groups over the years. And I'm very fortunate to have such dedicated, motivated, and hardworking students who joined our groups. And that was the reason for our productivity. So as I said, 32 research projects were given to us by different corporations and agencies internationally and in India. And we could successfully finish them and get the results. Then I could travel around and tell the importance of Indian science and what we have been doing at University of Delhi. Gave lectures at close to 160 international conferences and at more than 300 institutions in 32 countries. I am presently assisting IUPAC in its subcommittee on biomolecular chemistry and the interdivisional committee on green chemistry for sustainable development, which is a new initiative. Lastly, as I said, I was trained by a great Professor Seshadri, a great scientist himself, so try to emulate him, and still active. We are doing work. In this year itself, we have published 3 papers, and in last 6 years, 8 papers, 8 or 15 papers. And we have been our work has been cited quite well. These days, we can give these numbers. At the time of Professor Seshadri, these things were not there. But I'm glad to share with you that H index of 52, I-10 index of more than 270, citation index of 47.50, and total citations little more than 12,000. So this is Professor Kukreti, Professor Rita Kakkad, my colleagues, students of the department. I wanted to share with you what I learned from Professor Seshadri: hard work, motivated, devotional work, and continued his legacy in whatever little way I could. So I will stop here. I know I've taken more time. Okay. I hope you can accept it. Thank you very much.
Yes, okay. Thank you, sir. We are really privileged. It was really a pleasure that you could make it. हमको लगता था वहाँ बहुत रात होगी, and I don't know what is the health condition and all that, but it's wonderful to see you, smiling face, and great, very charming, wonderful.
Anything for the department and great.
Yes, yes. Thank you, sir. We are also happy to see another superannuated teacher, a great teacher, who is known for his teaching, and his research work was mainly research methodologies in organic chemistry. Professor J.M. Khurana. He has been in Delhi University administration also, and I'm happy that he agreed to my request, and thank you so much. Thank you. We are obliged. So please, just few words about your your feelings about Professor T.R. Seshadri and the department.
Thank you, Professor Kukreti, Professor Parmar, Professor Rita, and other colleagues, and Professor Maya Singh, the invited speaker. It's my privilege to attend this lecture, as we have been doing all these years. I'll just take a couple of minutes to mention 2-3 points. Number one, the dedication of the person can be assessed from the fact that he refused all administrative positions. including chairmanship of University Grants Commission, which is on record, that he refused to take up UGC chairmanship. His dedication was such, we all know that he died in 75 September, and I passed out in 75. And he used to take a lectures class, and he took one of our courses in the 4th semester, special paper, one section. But by that time he was very weak. So he would assign topics to each, some students. So we had to write up the lecture that we will be giving, give it to him, and he will correct. As far as correction is concerned, it was known that every day when he goes in the evening, the students would give him, his research scholars or whoever student gives him anything, he'll take in the evening with him and come next morning around 11 o'clock with everything checked with a pencil, and that was it. So I was also fortunate that he gave me a topic for a class lecture. We gave him, he would correct with a pencil and then tell, and he would sit there, we had to speak, and then he would correct us, he would give his views, he'll add whatever he had to. And in 75, as we all know, due to some problems in the university, his grants were stopped in 72, but he continued teaching and whatever he could in the department. He was taken to hospital from the university department only. Unfortunate for him that his financial condition in later years was not very good. And also, one point to be noted, that he was one of the rare persons who finished his PhD with Professor Robert Robinson in about just 2.5 years, before he moved to work with Professor Pregel. So he was I think undoubtedly, when we were doing masters, we were in the classroom doing practical in lab number 4 or 5. He would pass the corridor at 4 and 5. So our teachers, if they were not in the practical, they all would rush into the class, knowing the time that he has to come down. So we had that advantage that they knew that between 3, 4, he'll come in the round. So everybody will be available in the class. Not that they were not there, they were there, but I'm just saying that how, affectionate they were, and they knew his presence of mind. So with all these words, I think I thank you, Professor Kukreti, and I think we should learn. There's so many things from his life. We should learn. We become dedicated teachers, academicians, and whatever we can do for the society. During his BSc, because his financial problem, he stayed at Ramakrishan mission. And that was a financial help. They allowed him to stay here. And that's why after finishing his BSc, he dedicated 2 years to Ramakrishan only. And then he did his master's and later went for his PhD. And of course, we all know that it used to be 6 working days, Monday to Saturday, and Sunday he used to take lectures on the Ramakrishan in Gandhi Bhavan. So he had very clear views, a very dedicated worker, excellent teacher and researcher. I think Professor Parmar has already counted his contribution, which are I think only just a small. There's so many contributions, there's so many stories if you hear from people. Unfortunately, one of his students, Professor G. Parthasarathy, who was writing his biography, expired recently. I'm sure somebody will be able to complete that, and it will come out soon. Thank you, Professor Kukreti, and all the colleagues.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, it is nice hearing you also. And you told interesting things about Professor Seshadri. That's wonderful. It is important to know to students about his dedication and all. I have been also writing to Professor Asijan. And luckily, yesterday night, he responded through WhatsApp. And it is my duty to read his words which he writes. So he could not be here, but then he writes, Dear Professor Kukriti, I am thrilled to learn that you could arrange Professor R Seshadri Memorial Lecture even during Corona pandemic. I appreciate it very much and want to convey my sincere thanks to it. I love to be a part of it, and it's my privilege to speak few words about him. He was, in true sense, a great teacher, philosopher, and a guide who not only taught us chemistry, but also basic principles of life as how to become a great human being. He was always worried about the welfare of his students and dedicated his entire life for them. I'm extremely sorry that I would not be able to attend this meeting. I'm in US these days and away from home, and would like to pay sincere Shraddhanjali to him and wish you a very successful meeting. Thank you, Professor Jain. I told him that I'm going to read this. Wonderful. So this is really great and heartwarming to know about the legacy and interactions of Professor R Seshadri. And with this, now it is the time to invite our respected speaker, Professor Maya Shankar Singh from BHU Department of Chemistry. So I would, for those, he's also known for his work, but for students, it is very important to introduce the speaker, those who would like to know about it. Professor Maya Shankar Singh is FNA, FNC, FA and FNASC, JC Bose National Fellow, great credentials. He studied chemistry at BHU, where he was strongly influenced by teaching methods of two master educators, Professor K.N. Mehrotra and Professor A.K. Mukherjee. Dr. Singh obtained his doctorate under supervision of Professor K.N. Mehrotra in 1986 from BHU only. After postdoctoral research, he joined Vikram University, Ujjain, as assistant professor in 1990, then moved to Gorakhpur University as associate professor in 1998, and then to BHU in 2004, where he is full professor in organic chemistry since 2006. During his sabbatical, he has visited University of Arizona, Michigan, and Michigan State University, Nagoya Institute of Technology, RWTH Aachen University, Germany, and Loughborough University, then University of Leicester, UK, and RMIT University, Melbourne, Australia, in different capacities. So that clearly shows his interest in science and basically chemistry, what he does. The essence of his research in the development of efficient, eco-compatible one-pot synthetic methods engaging beta-keto diethyroesters and their derivatives as an antecedent in chemical synthesis. His interests also include design and development of sustainable diversity-oriented synthetic methods, SDOS, for foremost biologically molecule and drug intermediates by domino and tandem reactions. His more than 33 years of teaching UG, PG, and PhD students and 38 years of research experience resulted over 175 publications in journals of high repute and training of 23 PhD students in addition. He has also written 2 books of highly repute to his name. Professor Singh has received some recognitions and awards. In fact, he has received all the 3 academies, fellowship of all the 3 academies. That itself speaks a volume. So he's fellow of National Science Academy, FNA, then FNASC Bangalore, then NASI, and then he also got CRSI Bronze Medal, Vice Chancellor's Award of Excellence in Research, JC Bose National Fellowship, UGC BSR Middle Career Award, one-time grant. Presently, he is CNR Chair Professor and Head of Chemistry Department of Institute of Science, Banaras Hindu University, Banaras. Other than mentoring, he enjoys gardening, swimming, and which is being continued for many years. So that's wonderful to know about him, his credentials, his interest, and we are really privileged, sir, to have you here. And in fact, when we select a speaker, we have a group meeting, and then your name came just all of a sudden from everybody, and we all agreed to it. We are waiting to hear you, sir. Wonderful. Our students are also waiting, and we are privileged to have you. So, Professor Mahasankar Singh, Sir Singh, please.
आप सभी को सादर प्रणाम. Am I audible and visible?
Yes,
Yeah, you are audible, sir.
So thank you, Professor Shrikant Kukreti, for your words, for which personally I think really I do not deserve. But even then, there are some formalities of any program. So first of all, I would my hearty namaskar to all of you and Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Joshi sir, respected Head Department of Chemistry Professor Rita Kakkar, convener of this very outstanding program Professor Shrikant Kukreti ji, my all fellow colleagues of the Department of Chemistry, University of Delhi, and other all gentlemen, ladies and dear students. First of all, let me permit to express my sincere and deep sense of gratitude towards the generosity of the Department of Chemistry, University of Delhi, to select me for this coveted prestigious award lecture, which I count it my privilege and a great honor towards my academic career. I sincerely dedicate my lecture in the memory of Professor R Seshadri, FRS FNA. Really, whatever has been said about this outstanding, there is no words to me that I could prefix for him. Words cannot express his immense contribution towards the progress of the organic chemistry, even under highly difficult circumstances. So, on occasion, as Professor Kukreti is it visible?
Yes, sir.
yes.
Okay, that's great. So the today topic about my group dealing with the organic synthesis, and my group synthesis is highly focused one. Means we are employing only one molecule, that is the dithioesters. So today I am going to share whatever recently we have done about this molecule, particularly with respect to chemical psychology of heterocycles. So before going to the work, I would like to acknowledge my students. So till at 23 students have on their PhD, and currently 8 PhD students and 3 postdoc students are working. You all might agree that science is the key of everyone. One who has not got it is like a blind. And there are so many disciplines in the science. So one of the most important, which we generally call it the mother science, chemistry could not grow by itself. It needs its honest, dedicated, and devoted practitioners. For the growth of chemistry, it is highly desirable and demanding that more and more young minds have chemistry as a career for the benefit of the society. Especially better things for better living through chemistry, but in particular by organic chemistry. So as I discussed, we are going to deal with a single molecule that is a very simple molecule. As we know, in organic chemistry, organic synthesis covers the major field, and where there is the functionalization, transformation of the functional groups only. And we know there are various kinds of molecules. If a molecule contains more than one functional group, and the functional groups are situated far apart, then that functional groups are going to exhibit their own specific properties. But see the other situation, the molecule in which functional groups are in close proximity, are situated very near to each other. So in such type of molecules, they, from their own specific property, molecules exhibit unique, unexpected property resulting from the identity and interconnectedness of the various functional groups. So, just for the student's sake, you see, this is a very simple molecule. This is the beta-oxidithioester. This is the simple, in the case of, if you see beta-ketoester, which is a very simple molecule, even 10+2 level students know about the beta-ketoester. Both the oxygen have been replaced by sulfur. And by replacing both oxygen atoms, this molecule exhibits unusual property. And the specific characteristics of this molecule is that this molecule exists in this enolic form. That's why you see this is the enol. So that's why it's also known as beta-oxidithioester or alpha-enolic dithioester. And this enolic form is stabilized by the intermolecular hydrogen bonding, and this is responsible for its stability and minimum energy both in the solid as well as in the solution. This is the single structure of the molecule. So you see, what is our vision about this molecule? You see, this is the simple molecule in enolic form. It could be derivatized into various sister molecules if we are treating with the amines, that is the thioamides, treat with the alkyl halides, that is the SS acetals, treat with the again amine, aromatic amine under different condition, that is the NS acetal. And now you see the how many functional groups this molecule is going to have. This is the enol, could be in thiol, oxo, thioxo, dithioester, and as you see, a variety of more than 6-7 functional groups in a very simple molecule. And this functionality, these different functional groups are responsible for the variety of kinds of reactions. For example, S-alkylation, arylation, cross-coupling, chain lamp coupling, functionalization, CH activation, you see a number of reactions. So this molecule under varying conditions, one could be able to synthesize a variety of valuable heterocyclic scopophores. Till yet, what we have been able to synthesize from this very simple molecules, you see a huge number of heterocycles. And as we know, these are the basic 5-6 membered or condensed heterocyclic systems By combination with the other amino acids, they are the very, very useful pro-drugs molecules, and most of the molecules have been utilized as intermediates for the synthesis of very important life-saving drugs. So you see, starting with this very simple molecules, you see, means I think all kind of 5 and 6 membered heterocycles, and as well as fused heterocycles also, quinolines, isoquinolines, indanones, triazoloquinolines. Means you see, indinothiophene, naphthothiophene, means all kinds of 5 and 6 membered heterocycles we have been able to synthesize from this very simple molecule. So coming to our recent work, I am going to share very few recent works only. You see, as I told, the key intermediate of our all reactions is our simple molecule dithioesters or its derivative thioamides. So simple thioamides, when treated with the diazonium salt, under very simple condition, you see ruthenium second catalyst, LED irradiation with 470 nanometer wavelength at room temperature, and the time of the reaction is also not 24 hours, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. And we have been able to synthesize 30 thiodiazoles. That is a very interesting molecule. Again, you see, these thiodiazoles have two functional groups, carbonyl and imino group, isocyclic imine, which could be further functionalized. So this is the, and as I told in the beginning, the beauty of, the speciality of our work is the one-part reaction. We are doing all reactions in one part only. This is the reaction setup, very simple. You see, simply 25 ml round bottom flask, fitted with the rubber septum, a blue LED, that is the 1 watt higher power Lexian rebels with 470 nanometer, and magnetic strip. This is a very simple setup, could be designed in any simple laboratory. The next, we went for the optimization of the conditions of the reaction. We have just screened several solvents, acetonitrile, DCM, DMSO, DMAF. Base we have used different base, different catalysts we have used. This is the time and this is the heat. So, under doing a huge number of reactions, it was observed that, you see, this is the 30 number is the optimized reaction condition. Maximum yield within 8 hours. So, with this optimized reaction condition, we next proceeded to carry out some control experiments. We have done a number of control experiments just to see establish the mechanistic course of the reaction. Without photocatalyst, our desired molecule, that is the 3A, only trace amount. Without base, again trace amount. And when we are using the photocatalyst, that is the ruthenium second, you see 65%. And the beauty of this reaction is that when our thioamide is treated with the diazonium salt, we have been able to isolate the intermediate. And again, that intermediate is treated with our standard reaction conditions. This is the intermediate which has been isolated and fully characterized, leading to the desired molecule. So, you see, this is the isolated intermediate subjected to the standard condition, formation of the desired molecule. And again, we have isolated, this is the one part reaction, and the procedure 2, after the isolation of the intermediate, after the subjection of the standard condition, formation of the desired molecule. And we have synthesized the gram scale synthesis also. This reaction is applicable at the gram scale also. So based on the control experiments, optimization, and different cross coupling reactions, we have proposed the tentative mechanism of the reaction. As I told, simple adduct of the thioamide and diazonium salt give this adduct. And when this adduct is subjected to the photocatalyst with a blue LED 470 nanometer, you see formation of the enthine radical, and this enthine radical exists in another tautomeric form also. This hydrogen is like this tautomeric moves here, which undergoes, that is the radical coupling with the elimination of H plus, and this catalytic cycle is being completed by the open air, that is no external oxidant is being used, that is the open air atmospheric oxygen. So with this optimized reaction conditions, you see the scope of the reaction, we have synthesized a huge number, employing all kind of variations. You see aryl variations including all electron withdrawing and electron donating substituents at irrespective of the orthomate and para position. Not only variation in this aryl irrespective of the orthomate and para position, we have used heterocyclic variants also, fluoryl, thionyl, pyridine. Not only aryl and heterocycles, we have used the extended aromatics also, that is the naphthyl and biphenyl. And this is the aromatic, and not only aromatic, heteroaromatic and extended aromatic substituents, we have screened and utilized and found it very, very effective, giving the good yield of the product with aliphatic derivatives also. So these are the different variations. In the same way, we have studied the scope of the reaction with an aryl substituents also. Again, electron donating, electron withdrawing, and irrespective of the positions at the phenyl ring. And finally, we have established the structure with the single structure of one of the representative molecule. Not only this, further we thought that there are two additional functionality, that is the carbonyl and imino group. Let us functionalize further this molecule. So we did two most important reactions, that is the oxidation and reduction. So we performed the oxidation of this molecule, and which open the ring with the desulfurization gives the thioamide. You see, that is the alpha phenyl hydroxythioamides, again very important compound. It could be further functionalized for the synthesis of a variety of useful molecules. Then we subjected the reduction. What happened? This endocyclic double bond undergoes reduction, and after reduction, this proton is not stabilized to this carbon, undergoes shift to give this NH. This NH, that is the, you see, substituted 1, 2, 3 diazolines derivative. Next, again, our molecule, as I told, that's our key precursor is the beta-oxo dithioesters. Again, you have used beta-oxo dithioesters under the photocatalytic condition, under very simple reaction condition, to synthesize the alkynyl sulfides. You see, carbonyl conjugated alkynyl sulfides. Otherwise, very, very difficult to synthesize this molecule. And we are doing our all reaction in one part, and in one part, the variety of reactions, variety of, as we say, tandem, domino. So, cascade means bond breaking, and a number of bond formation and bond breaking is being happen in the same partner. So, why our protocol is better? As I told, you see the previous methods for the synthesis of alkynyl sulfides, simple alkynyl sulfides, and we have synthesized the conjugated alkynyl sulfides. So, this gives one of the very easy and efficient path for the synthesis of carbonyl conjugated alkynyl sulfides starting with the beta oxidithyl esters. Again, as we know in organic synthesis, one needs the optimization of the condition of the reaction, and for which sometimes more than 50 and 100 reactions students have to perform. Again, our optimized reaction condition are this under different, thermal, photochemical, and that is the effect of the temperature on this reaction also. At 80 degrees centigrade, the yield is the same, means temperature is not going to have any effect. Under photochemical condition, we are getting the 88% speeds. In DMSO, under the same wavelength of the light within 2 hours. So these are again some controlled experiments, because we have to isolate the intermediates. We are trying to isolate some intermediates and precursors from which we can go for the backward or retrosynthesis of that particular molecule. So again, a huge number of controlled experiments we have done to see the exact mechanistic path of the reaction, and after carrying out these controlled experiments, we are able to suggest the mechanistic path of this reaction. You see, this is our dithioesters treated with formation of oxime, alpha oximino compound, hydroxy imino compounds, subjected to under photolytic condition, undergoes excited states, and which follows the PCET with electron and hydrogen transfer to give the 4-membered. We tried our level best to get trapped by this molecule, to isolate this molecule, but we could not. Only we will be able to detect this removal of the small molecule with the help of HRMS. And finally, after establishing the mechanism, then we move towards the scope. Again, we have synthesized a huge number of alkynyl sulfides, that is the carbonyl conjugated alkynyl sulfides, with all kinds of derivatives, electron donating, withdrawing, irrespective of the ortho-meta para position. And not only that, we have synthesized a fluoroderivative. As we know, nowadays the fluoroderivative molecules, either it's acyclic, carbocyclic, or heterocyclic species, they are very much useful for the design and synthesis of drugs. Again, this is the scope of the carbonyl conjugated alkynyl sulfides. Then again, one simple reaction we see. This is our molecule, alpha-enolic dithioesters. So, just we perform the very simple reaction, that is the well-known reaction, and that is a simple formulation, and treated with our molecule, which gives the tricyclic system, that is the thioxothienopyranol 2-chromine 5-4. So, it's a very simple reaction with the 4-chloro-3-formyl coumarins. And this is the in situ generated intermediate. It has been trapped with the help of HRMS, and you see the reaction condition means nothing is required. And in this particular case, we have been lucky to isolate this molecule without column chromatography, simply by crystallization or tittering with the organic solvents, that is in some case mixture of co-solvents, we have been able to get the analytical grade pure molecule. Again, this is the optimization, as we told. This is the optimized condition, that is the 60 degree temperature, 6 hour time in 77 degrees centigrade. So with this optimized condition, again we have this synthesized a huge number of. Actually, this scope of
Since hold a minute, I think there is some problem. Maybe Srikanji, you can call Professor Kaushik to just stop what he started sharing, because it's a slide is not coming.
My slide is not coming?
No, there is a very simple simple solution. You just pin the a slide of Professor Maya Shankar Singh and it will come. In the meantime, it can't call Professor Kaushik.
Can I move ahead? It's okay.
Yeah, we can individually pin your slide.
My slide is visible or not?
No.
Then, but
No, I suggested that we can individually make his slide pin to the screen and then we can see his slides. In the meantime, Professor Kogreti can call Professor Kaushik.
Yeah, I just heard that it is not visible in YouTube, but here it is visible.
No, it's not visible now.
Professor Kakkar, you just go to the icon of Professor Maya Shankar Singh and then you can pin his slide. Then you will be able to see.
But I am able to see, as Rajiv suggested.
No, can you
See,
see
nobody can see the slides.
Now, are they visible? They are visible to me now.
I think Rajiv Gupta sir saying correct, ma'am.
No, I will
That's visible. Yeah.
No, I will do that. I will do that. I just pinned it. I can see full screen now.
Yes, sir. In the same way.
How to pin this? Can you please tell us how to pin this?
Ma'am, sir, you directly go to Maya Shankar Singh sir icon and then there is a pin option. You just click on that.
Okay.
I think Professor Kaushik has accidentally clicked on present.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, we can try to pin.
HOD ma'am, did you get it?
Yeah.
So,
is substrate scope, is it?
By pinning it.
So now you can start, sir.
Yeah, you can start.
Okay.
आप start कर लीजिए, मैं कर दूँगा.
So again, the suggested mechanism for the formation of this tricyclic compound. Simple first step is the Weiss-Meyer-Hack formulation, introduction of the CHO group. Then subjected to our molecule, which undergoes Michael reaction to give the Michael addition. And the beauty of this reaction is that this intermediate, that is the undergoes intramolecular chemo and radioselective sulfur attachment, which leads to intermediate, this one. And this intermediate undergoes again intramolecular elimination of the chloride ion, and that is the back attack SN2 type to this methyl, with the removal of methyl chloride leading to the desired molecule. Again, you see in the next slide, this is our molecule, dithiol ester. Here, actually, our objective was to replace this SR2 group with the CF3 group. That is a very good precursor for some kinds of drug intermediates. But as we know, whatever we design, in particularly organic synthesis on a paper, if we are going in the flask with the molecules, something else, that is the unexpected chemistry. And the same happened in this case also, we got the unexpected result. Means in spite of replacing this SR2 group, we got the S-trifluoromethylation. That is again very important molecule. That is the trifluoromethyl sulfur group. That is very, very useful molecule for the synthesis of a huge number of important molecules. Again, this is the optimization. As usual, we are doing, and this is our optimized condition with the maximum yield. Again, this is the substrate scope. In the similar way, because that is the generosity of this reaction, generality of the reaction for checking, we are doing with different variety of derivatives and substituent, that our reaction is what kind of efficiency is having. So huge number of starting materials are able to be employed, and all are compatible with this standard optical condition. Again, we have performed a huge number of control experiments just to support some mechanistic evidence in providing the course of mechanism for this reaction. You see in dark, no reaction. With eosin Y and trifluorosulfonate sodium catalyst, again with BHT 0%, that is the radical trap. Again, we have used the tempo radical trap 0%. But when we are using eosinophile in open air, again traces of the molecules, desired molecules were observed. But when we are using the O2 baleen, means no desired product. But what happened? No catalyst in DMF. With our trifluoromethyl sulfonating reagent, you see 37% will have been obtained. So with this controlled experiments, we perform some cross experiments, means different kind of dithioesters with different kinds of our SS conjugated molecules, and we got a different kinds of disulfides as well as trifluoromethyl thioderivative of our dithioesters. So with this kind of experience, we propose the plausible reaction mechanism for this reaction. This is our dithioester subjected to the photocatalytic condition, formation of enthyle radical, which undergoes dimerization to the disulfide. Again, this is we have tracked this intermediate with the help of HRMS, and this intermediate undergoes a variety of reaction, that the reverse hydrogen atom transfer and MS50 with giving our desired molecule with the elimination of sulfur dioxide. And this is the crystal structure of the molecule, and this is the absolute jet stereochemistry of this exocyclic double bond. Then again, we thought if we subject our thioamides with diketones, let us see again, this is a very useful molecule and very simple to synthesize in the laboratory. When subjected to photolytic condition, almost at room temperature 35 degrees centigrade, but little bit in this case, reaction time is little bit higher, 12 hours. And as you know, in photochemistry, the standard time sometimes for most valuable reactions, it goes for 1 to 2 days also. So under this simple, operationally simple standard condition, we have been able to synthesize highly functionalized thiazolines. You see, fully functionalized means fully substituted thiazoline derivatives. And if we talk about the functional group, again, carbonyl group is here, exocyclic double bond is here, which is again conjugated with the ketone, that is the enone system becomes, and means it again further could be functionalized into a variety of useful molecules. So again, for this, our optimized condition, this standard condition, we have been able to synthesize a huge number of thiazoline derivatives. These are the scope of various thiazolines. Again, these are the means we are able to bearing the all kind of substituent at all positions with all kinds of the means groups. It could be aromatic, aliphatic, heterocyclic, extended aromatic, means a variety of reactions have been fully performed under the same optimized reaction conditions. Then not only that, then we thought if we treat our dithioester with 1,3-diketones, then yield in regioisomeric percentage we are getting with such kind of system where R2 and R3 could be same or different. But our ratio in some cases is very good. You see, 6:94 distereomeric ratio, 23:77, 9:91, 93:7. In some cases, and most of the cases, very nice distereomeric ratio you have been able to obtain. Again, we have carried out the different sets of the control experiments to propose the standard mechanism of the reaction. So when treated with simple our thioamide with this diazoketone, no product detected. You see, with this we have just changed the phenyl with the methoxyphenyl. It ended again no product. And when we replaced the phenyl with the substituted phenyl, we got the entirely different one. And Again, when this molecule is treated without the diazo compound, under standard condition, we got the same molecule. So, what does it mean? It means that the reaction proceeds by this way. That is the first our diazo compound undergoes in the excited states, then reacts with that is the misgeneration of the carbene. This carbene reacts with the thioamide to give this N-acetyl, which undergoes intramolecular N-cyclization and followed by dehydration to give the desired molecule. Again, this molecule has been fully characterized with the help of crystal structure. Again, you see in our next scheme, simple thioamide treated with the again diazo compound, that is the alpha diazo compound. R2, R3, we have a huge number of variations. Here we have depicted only 3, 2A, 2B, and 2C. And we have been able to synthesize 5-membered thiazolines for ons and thiazolines both. Again, just see the importance and further utility of our targeted molecules, synthesized molecules, which could be further functionalized for the synthesis of a huge number of molecules. As usual, next comes the optimization. So, our optimization is very simple. Just you see the room temperature. Most of the reactions are at room temperature, almost in quantitative, more than 80%, in some cases, more than 95%. So, with optimized conditions, then this is the scope, generality of the reaction with different substituted both thioamide as well as diazoketones. So, you see here electron donating diazoscopes we have, with neutral diazos alkane scope we have, with electron withdrawing diazoscope again we have a huge number of molecules. So, reaction is very much compatible with all kinds of diazo compounds, either it's substituted or having the neutral species or electron withdrawing or electron donating. So, not only that, then further we treated the simple diazo state, this molecule, and alpha diazo 1,3-diketone. Both not in spite of ester, we have taken the alpha diazo diketone. Again, we have obtained the similar kinds of molecules which shows the diversity of the reaction. And as well as again further application, in spite of our dithioesters or thioamides, we treated the amino thiol, simple molecule, and we got the, again you see benzothiazole, again having 2 acetyl group, which could be further functionalized to a variety of molecules. As far as its mechanism is concerned, that is a very simple mechanism. Our first, this is the diazo compound, subject to rhodium, undergoes this rhodium carbene complex, reacts with our thioamide to give the sulfonium elide. This sulfonium elide undergoes transformation to the NS-acetyl, which undergoes intramolecular N-cyclization with the elimination of the simple molecule ethanol to give the desired thiazoline 4-ons. Again, then we thought can phosphonium elite can act as a catalyst towards our molecule for its functionalization or for its transformation. Yes, phosphonium elite has been found as a useful catalyst for the transformation, for the functionalization of our dithioesters or thioamides. So here we treated the thioamide with the catalytic loading of the phosphonium elite, one simply dihalo species, dihaloalkanes, and formation of, you see, 5-membered as well as 6-membered thiazolidines and thiazonanes. So this is the course of the reaction of the how it proceeds. And again, the phosphonium elite at the end of the reaction regenerated and isolated. So this is a very simple reaction, our thioamide And again, we have just employed, we have screened a huge number of variations at R1 as well as N substituent. It could be Ri as well as alkenes. So you see, 5-membered thiazolidines as well as 6-membered thiadenines, good examples have been seen. Again, mechanism is very simple in this case. It little bit looks to be complex, but it's very simple. First, phosphonamide reacts with the dihaloalkanes to give this species. Then it reacts with our thioamide to give this C intermediate. Fifth undergoes means kind of the isomers and undergoes this intramolecular cyclization with the elimination of the phosphonamide catalyst to give the desired molecule either 5-membered ring or 6-membered. Again, both 5-membered and 6-membered molecules have been characterized with the help of the single structure, and we have carried out the gram scale synthesis for both of the targeted molecules. Then next we thought, and our molecule could be reacted with the one of the most important adduct, that is the Bailey-Shillman adduct, and we tried, and it found very useful molecule for the means one of the reaction partner for our thioamides or dithioesters. So when treated with, this is the alpha-enolic form of the dithioester, which acts as the carbon or sulfur nucleophile. This is the Bailey-Shillman adduct, that is the acetate, which acts as the disubstituted allylic electrophile. And you see, again, all reactions, as I told in the beginning, that's a very, very specific in one part. Means part is specific, step is specific, as well as several bond breaking and bond formation, that is the cascade, tandem or domino reactions, are going to be happen in the single part only. So that is the beauty, and we are employing our dithioesters or thioamides or its derivatives. So under very simple condition, simply try thilamine in ethanol at room temperature within 5 to 15 minutes. You see, is a very important acyclic as well as cyclic molecule, which leads to the precursor for the thiopyranes. Again, this molecule is very useful because it's highly chemo and regioselective, and selectivity has been observed with a huge number of variations also. This is the, as I told, formation of both carbon-sulfur bond, and initially what happens in this case, this is the kind of electrophile. Generally, in most of the common reactions we have seen formation of the carbon-carbon bond, but in spite of the carbon-carbon, we are getting the exclusive amount of the sulfur-carbon bond formation. That is the S-alylation, which is very, very difficult under different conditions. So, but first, after the synthesis of the S-alylated derivative from our precursor molecule, we subjected to another functionalization, that is the transformation, which undergoes 3,3 sigma tropic rearrangement. Simply, the same molecule under similar conditions, just from room temperature we have to reflux. And what happens, that is the S-aly conversion of S-alylated to the C-alylated derivative. Yes, you see, means cleavage of carbon-sulfur bond, formation of carbon-carbon bond with 3,3 sigma tropic shifts happen in the same bond. And we have, this is the different kind of compounds, that is the substrate scope of the reaction, as far as C-alylated and S-alylated derivatives. As you see, this is the simple mechanism how it proceeds. It's very simple. And then again, this is the scope of the reaction. As I told, the S-alylated derivative, we have been able to the carbon-carbon bond, here new carbon-carbon bond, to give the, that is the highly useful dihydrothiopiran carboxylase. Again, you see this carboxyl group, this ketone group, and this thioalkyl group, three substituents could be further functionalized to give the very useful, important molecule. And this is the mechanism of the reaction, how S-allylated derivative undergoes carbon bond formation. Again, that is the very simple. This is the established chemistry, nothing new. Again, structure of the final molecules, both acyclic as well as cyclic, has been confirmed with the help of single crystal structure. Then we thought, what about hydrogen atom transfer photocatalytic approach with eosin Y? With our simple molecule, thioamide. You see the simple eosin Y under photolytic condition, in DMF, room temperature, open air, you see formation of 1,2,4 thiodiazolidines. Means just you see the beauty of the reaction. Means in a simple starting acyclic molecule, we are able to cyclize it, convert it, and most of the cases, most reactions are high atom economic iso. All the starting materials are being incorporated into the final product. So this is the beauty of this reaction with exclusive stereochemistry of both exocyclic double bond. As we know, this is the established photochemistry of the organic dye eosin Y. We all must be knowing about this. As usual, we have in this case also, we have carried out some control experiments. A variety of control experiments you have done. You see, without means eosin Y, DMF, under different conditions. You see, this is the maximum means our optimized condition, which gives the 70% yield. Again, we have carried out the gram scale synthesis in some of the representative molecules. And again, this is the proposed reaction pathway after performing some control experiments. Again, this is the eosin Y cycle. How it acts as the hydrogen atom transfer to give this immunothiol radical, which undergoes coupling to give the SS. That is the, you see, that is again this molecule we have isolated and fully characterized. And this molecule under high temperature gives the this tight-membered ring containing 2 sulfur and 1 nitrogen atom, and one of the amino group is being eliminated. So what about, as I told in our previous, most of the reactions are one part and cascade reactions. So we tried using our molecule, thioamides or esters, with more than 2 or 3 components. Let us see what happens in the same class. So here we tried 3 other components. Earlier we have tried 1:1 reaction. Only 2 reaction partners we have taken. One substrate is our molecule, dithioesters or thioamides are its derivative. But here we have taken 3 other reaction partners. That is, you see, aminothiophenol, cyclic as well as acyclic diketones and aldehydes. That is the highly green synthesis. 4 components in one part leads to the, you see, 1, 2, 3, 4 tetracyclic framework. That is the thiazoloquinolone. This is the thiazoloquinolone. Again, this thiazoloquinolone tetracyclic framework and containing additional carbonyl, that is the cyclic carbonyl compound, and this is the acyclic. Both have different chemistry. Again, there is the maximum chances of the further transformation or functionalization of this. And you see the condition of the reaction, simple room temperature with this green ionic liquid. And again, mechanism is very simple, well established. First step is the simple condensation of our molecule with the aminothiol, formation of the, that is the NS-acetal. NS-acetal undergoes with diketones Michael type reaction to give the Michael adduct. This Michael adduct undergoes 2-fold tautomerization, that is the imine, enamine as well as ketoenol in the same part. Gives this intermediate. which undergoes again intramolecular, highly regiospecific cyclization to give the desired molecule with the elimination of water, simple water molecule. So, means you see, this is the beauty of our reaction. In one part, several bonds are being broken and several bonds are being formed under very simple condition, employing very economic reagents as well as substrates. Here, the beauty of our ionic liquid batch, it has been utilized several times without any decreasing its efficiency as well as turnover frequency. So then we thought, what about oxidative cross coupling with our substrate with some fused phenols or naphthals. So here we took, that is the naphthals, that is the alpha enolic molecules, and again you see in this particular case what happens, at room temperature, of course its reaction is going, but yield is very less. And this is the optimum temperature. At 100 degrees centigrade, we have been able to receive the this targeted molecule up to 90%. And not only this, again, as you see in our molecule, again we are going to have further functional groups. Again, you see, this is the vicinal diketones, 1, 2, vicinal diketones. And then when this molecule, vicinal diketones, is treated with diamino derivative formation of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you see pentacyclic scaffold, pentacyclic framework in a very simple way, utilizing only, that is the naphthal, ester and imine in one part. This reaction we have carried out in a separate fashion also, and we have done in a one part also. So this is the scope of beta naphthal. We have used differently substituted beta naphthals also. And then benzothiono 2-phenazine derivative, that is the, you see, 6665 pentacyclic, very useful molecules. Otherwise, in one step, starting with so simple substrates, really seems to be very, very difficult. Similarly, as earlier, we have carried out a number of control experiments just to propose the tentative mechanism for the reaction. And again, this is a very simple mechanism, how tempo acts. And this, the whole key exercise is that this tempo, naphthal is being converted into orthoquinone. And this orthoquinone, isolated and fully characterized. Orthoquinone reacts with the alpha enolic dithioester to give this molecule, and you see the selectivity of the intermediate. There are equal two possibilities. The molecule can go either O-cyclization or S-cyclization, leading to two different, entirely different products. That is the thiophene, that is the furan derivative, but exclusive formation in quantitatively, as I told, more than 90% exclusive formation of the thiophene derivative, that is the exclusive S-cyclization. This tells about the, speak about the regio and chemoselectivity of the reaction. Again, you see, in most of the cases, we are trying to use the very simple starting materials, very simple substrates, which could be easily available anywhere in any simple laboratory also. So here, what we have done, we have treated our molecule with this very simple molecule, semi-carbazide. It's available, and you see again, this is the very green reaction, that is a catalyst-free formation of pyrazole, and this is the disulfide tethered pyrazoles under very simple condition. In one case, we are catalyst-free, giving the pyrazoles, and when we are using the simple sodium acetate bench stable molecule in our high school 10+2 laboratory available sodium acetate, and this is giving the disulfide tethered pyrazoles. So this speaks about our selectivity, all kind of chemoselectivity, radioselectivity, stereoselectivity of our all reactions. And again, this is the simple mechanism, seems to be complex on this screen, but it's very simple. Then we thought till it we have observed that in most of the cases, our molecule has act as the C nucleophile, as S nucleophile. Then we thought that our thiocarbonyl sulfur can be used as a nucleophile in 4+1 cyclization reactions. Yes, we did it. That is our molecule. When treated with, again you see, that is the diazo compound, formation of the diazo derivative, that is the alpha oxymino or amino derivative of the dithioesters. And when treated with the copper catalyst, in one part, you see formation of, what is again very useful molecule, that is the dihydrothiols. Very useful molecules by copper catalyzed 4+1 cycloaddition reaction. Again, this is the simple reaction conditions. That is the first step, synthesis of the alpha oxymino derivative of our molecules, then treated with the standard conditions using the copper catalyst to give the cyclized molecules in very good yields. You see 90%, 93, 90, 82, means almost in most of the cases, except few cases, we are getting the good yields of the molecule. Here again, we have synthesized dihydrothiols also under the similar reaction conditions. One of the double bond antibody reduction to give the, and this is the, you see, asymmetric, but we are unable, and you see again here the yield of the molecule, that is the diastereomeric ratio of the system. In most of the cases, 95-10, 81-30, 86-30 means almost comparable and good selectivity we have observed in most of the cases. So finally, we just very simple reaction. Our molecule with ammonium acetate, which acts as a source of ammonia, no metal, simple acetic acid. Again, the problem is that reaction temperature is little bit higher, 100 degrees centigrade. You see, timing, no inert condition under open air. Gives again very important molecule, that is the 3,5 disubstituted as well as annullated isothiazoles. And it's a highly part step cost economic reaction. And if you see the reaction condition, simple metachloro further this alkyl means S alkyl group is there, which further functionalize to its sulfur oxide derivatives. So you see the again how it forms. Ammonium acetate is the source of ammonia. Simple formation of the imine. Fit undergoes again. We tried to isolate this molecule or trap with HRMS, but unable to isolate. We could not. Then it immediate transforms to this molecule, which undergoes aerial oxidation to give our desired molecule. And we have carried out some control experiments also for the just evidence of this mechanistic discourse. And this is the derivatization, further functionalizations of the sulfur substituents. That is the oxidation reaction, and this is the crystal structure of the molecule. So finally, I would like to give the message to all of you that our all reactions, which is the one part reactions, you see cheap and easily available starting materials. Dithioester could be very easily synthesized, and it's highly bench stable. Operationally simple one-part cascade process. In most of the cases, part, atom, and step economy protocol. Most of the cases, very clean reaction, as I told, simple by crystallization or tittering with the co-solvents. No need of column chromatography. Normally under open air. Most of the cases at room temperature. Easy isolation and purification procedures, good to excellent yields, high selectivity, wide substrate scope, and most important, all reactions are scalable also. This is our research group. And finally, I would like to thank you all for your kind patience, giving your valuable time to be at least for 60 minutes with me, and for funding, because organic synthesis cannot be carried out, it cannot be cherished, cannot be achieved if some funding is not. So I would like to acknowledge to those funding agencies which are providing assistance to my research group and research project, that is the DST, SERB, CSIR, UGC, UKRI, as well as JC Bose Fellowship and Banaras Hindu University for giving this platform and job. So thank you very much for your time patience here.
Okay, thank you. It was a treat listening you. Very fine chemistry you explained of alpha-enolic diethyesters. They are very useful synthons you talked about, and especially switching the selectivity of alpha-enolic diethyesters. It's wonderful, sir. I truly believe that students might have got interest in your fine chemistry, and they must be benefited with this knowledge. Thank you so much for finally making it to us.
Yeah, it is my pleasure. Thank you all, and it's my immense pleasure to be part of this very I cannot have any word to give about this prestigious award lecture, and still I am unable to judge myself. I am fitting well with the previous awardee, then mine answer will be no.
Thank you. Thanks for being so humble, and you are very inspiring in yourself also. Thank you so much. And now we are approximately at the end of this this event. I request our head of the department, Professor Rita Kakkar ma'am, just to take over, and because many people have contributed, so she would just speak something. And then after ma'am, I would request my senior colleague, Professor Ashok Prasad, to speak few words. What he felt about it, and how he feels being in department, and taking forward this legacy. So, Professor Rita Kakkar ma'am, please.
Thank you, Professor Kukreti. And thank you very much, sir, for lecture that I'm sure that most of our students, at least the organic chemistry students, must have benefited a lot from this, because I believe the way you discuss how you went about your research will encourage more students to come into research. And I think most of the students were MSc students, so they will be encouraged to go further in research. Again, I'll thank you for acceding to our request to postpone twice. And we really feel bad that we could not invite you to lunch in the department, show you around the department, which looks nice at this time of the year, but now it is deserted. There's no student around. So maybe some other time you will come and honor us with your presence. I also wish to thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor. I personally invited him the last time, and he made a note in his diary, and then I sent him an email that we are postponing it. In the morning he called कि आपका 11 बजे event था. I said, no sir, I've told you that we have postponed it. Then now I just sent him an email, and very graciously he acceded to our request. And I know he's very busy. He wrote to me that we leaving at 11:20 because there's some event at Gandhi Bhavan or somewhere that he has to attend. So even then he came to encourage us. Thank you very much, sir. I know he's not here, but the message will be conveyed to him. Then I want to thank Professor Kukreti. I mean, I personally, vote of thanks is not my job, but I took it over because somebody has to thank Professor Kukreti. He very enthusiastically worked. I think we met thrice or 4 times about this, how to go about it. He designed the, lighting of the lamp, everything. So he did it very enthusiastically. I like such people who, put their heart and soul into whatever they are doing. So thank you very much. One other person, a young friend that I want to thank is Rajat Sharma, who is the son of Professor Rajkishore Sharma. Throughout all the webinars that we have held, very few chemistry ones because people were not in the frame of mind to attend chemistry lectures. So we are having on general well-being, and he's helped us with the YouTube links. So I would have liked to learn how to do it, but I never had the time and learn it. But this small, I think he's in 7th class or so. He's a young person. I want to thank, and I want to thank Professor Rajkishore Sharma also for helping with the webinars. And this is going to be my last webinar. Thank you all of you for making it a success. And thank you for everybody who participated in this. And like I said before, all the time I was just, clicking admit people and all. And after 100, I requested please join the YouTube link. I don't know how many people, only Rajat will be able to tell how many joined the YouTube link. But it was a huge success. I think even better than an offline event. The only thing is that we could not meet physically. So thank you again, Professor Maya Shankar Singh ji, for making it a success.
मैं एक निवेदन करना चाहूँगा आप सभी लोगों से, और मुझे उम्मीद है कि मेरे रिक्वेस्ट को आप सभी, इवन प्रोफेसर DS रावत साहब, अखिलेश वर्मा, आप सभी स्वीकार करेंगे कि जब भी अब हम दिल्ली आएंगे तो मेरा लंच ड्यू रहेगा आप लोगों को.
Sure.
Most welcome.
We will wait for that.
Yeah.
Because this virtual mode, this opportunity is not there.
सिर्फ कह देने से नहीं, देखिए मैं घर पहुंच जाऊंगा आपके.
You are most welcome, sir. आइए.
Yeah. Then that's fine.
Thank you, sir.
Again, back to you, Professor Kukreti.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Let me tell you, this of this program, I mean to say, the program in virtual platform. Let me tell you very frankly that I was never interested in it. I got many invitations from different universities to speak, but then I wrote to them that please, I would like to be there in offline interactions, because offline interactions are the real interactions. Today I really felt it. We used to garland Professor R Seshadri's, real picture here, and then we used to light the lamp. और अब ये समय आ गया है कि हमें ये सब करना पड़ रहा है. और वो जैसे कहते हैं ना कि मोदी जी कहते हैं कि आपदा को अवसर में बदलो. So I think we have done it, and what I wanted to that I was not very much interested in this, but the persistence which ma'am showed since beginning. In fact, I have to apologize to group members that ours was the last meeting to conduct and to decide the speaker about it, because we were thinking that we will have it offline, and we arranged it also offline, but then something happened, COVID की कृपा हो गई और बहुत कुछ हो गया जो नहीं होना था. But so the first person to be thanked is our head of the department, ma'am, Professor Rita Kakkar, who insisted and who wanted to do this. She always thought that the chain should not break. So last year or before last year नहीं हो पाया कई कारणों से. तो अब इस साल हुआ है और ये चेन आगे चलती रहेगी. तो she has really very promising ideas and things with her. And then at the same time, Professor Maya Shankar Singh, sir, we never knew you, but पहले ही मेल का आपने इतना अच्छा जवाब दिया था, तो we were really delighted. मैंने सबको बताया कि he's agree and we were very happy. अच्छा, उसके बाद फिर मुझे एक सॉरी फिगर कट करना पड़ा बिकॉज हमने लिखा कि हम नहीं कर पाएंगे. उसके बाद then there was a big gap, but I mean he was there. He was there. Last maybe मैंने डर के उनको मेल लिखा, but he was again. He said yes, no problem. So I mean very courteous and very generous of you, sir. We are really thankful to you. And then Professor Parmar, I was in touch with him, and he always responded well. He said, "कभी भी किसी भी समय वो 11 नहीं वो रात के 12 भी बज जाए मुझे, but I will be there." So and then Professor J.M. Khurana, I also tried to contact Professor Rassi Jain, but I mean जो आ सके, they really came and wholeheartedly. And I mean, what I can feel that the program went well, and each of my colleagues in the department, they were always with me, and I mean, it was wonderful. Even I remember Professor Tirupati Nateshan, he was not well, but he said, I cannot be there, but I will be there online. And I saw he was online. So this is wonderful. Actually, there is a sense of belonging to the place. I told you in the beginning that I am really fortunate that I am a part of this great department. So I'm very happy, and I think things went well. Professor Maya Shankar Singh, sir, हम जरूर मिलेंगे आगे. इनफैक्ट हमने कुछ फ्रेंड्स ने ये डिसाइड भी किया था जब आपको ऑफलाइन बुला रहे थे कि हम डिनर पे जाएंगे. नहीं हो पाया, but I think things will be done. And now I request my colleague Professor Prasad to say a few words.
प्रोफेसर कौशिक ने भी ज्वाइन किया था.
अच्छा.
Kaushik was there.
अच्छा, Professor N.K. Kaushik.
Yeah,
He was there.
Oh, wonderful.
He was the one who started sharing his screen.
Oh, okay. Yes, Professor Prasad.
So I will take this occasion to thank Professor Maya Shankar Singh, because when we had the last organic meeting, we decided that we are going to have this in offline mode, because Seshadri Memorial Lecture was due from last couple of years. But anyway, circumstances turned out in such a way that we had to have this in online mode. तो जैसे डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया कि हम लोग सशद्री साहब को माला चढ़ाते थे, उनके बारे में बोलते थे. एक चीज जरूर मिस किया. दूसरा चीज जो हम लोगों ने मिस किया, वो हम लोग स्पीकर को जो ऑनर करते थे और उनको शॉल पहनाते थे, वो सब हमने इस बार मिस किया है मैं शंकर जी. तो हम लोग जरूर वेट करेंगे कि अगली बार हम लोग डिपार्टमेंट में कभी मिलेंगे. एंड
मैं सब आपसे ले लूंगा सर, आप चिंता ना करें. आपसे ले लूंगा.
और हम लोग का जो डिनर मिस हो गया है, वो डिनर मिस नहीं होगा, हम लोग उसको करेंगे फिर. थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. थैंक यू.
Dr. Ashok, I'll just interrupt you for a while.
Please.
Not many people know Professor Maya Shankar Singh is an excellent host, and and I'm sure that whenever we go there, he will take us out, and his own lunch and dinner is certainly pending with us. Whenever situation allows him to come to Delhi, I think we'll all go together and celebrate this occasion. But
sure.
then at least I had this opportunity to meet him in Banaras several times, so I know that he's an excellent host.
Thank you, sir, very much. Most welcome.
And I know that Professor Awasthi is also a good friend of Professor Maya Shankar, because he used to tell me, he used to ask me कब हो रहा है. तो but so
आपका केवल सर दिख रहा है कुर्सी से. थोड़ा सा ऊपर आना पड़ेगा सर.
दोष तो उनकी हाइट का है.
I want to Professor Kukreti, I want to.
आप लोग सर कलीग होते हुए अवस्थी साहब का सर देख करके अवस्थी साहब के बारे में आप लोग नहीं पता कर पा रहे हैं.
थोड़ा सा ऊपर आना पड़ेगा.
और नहीं दिखाना चाहते उनके बारे में आप जानेंगे.
Yes, Dr. Parashar, आप कुछ बोल रहे थे.
Welcome. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, your book is lying on my table, and I normally refer it. And I was just thinking to meet you because I am also writing books, and couldn't get the opportunity to meet you face to face. But as you said, in future we are definitely going to meet you. And I just wanted to tell you that our student in Delhi University do refer your book. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. It was
Akhilesh, you would
very
like
nice
to
see all of you online at the faces, smiling faces of all the people, and I'm really glad to see each and every one smiling face, my young colleagues. Professor Khurana, are you still here?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Khurana sahab hai online abhi bhi.
Khurana sahab, you mentioned somebody expired. Who was it?
एक जो उनके दोस्त है IAS ऑफिसर.
Oh, अच्छा जी पार्थसारथी.
No, you said G Pathasarthi.
G Pathasarthi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, he came to, I think, department and gave lectures also.
Yeah. He came to department.
Yes, I think.
I know that.
Yes.
No, but I was confused with S Pathasarthi and G Pathasarthi.
No, G Pathasarthi.
Yeah, he spoke on rare earth metals, I think.
Yes, yeah.
So he was an IAS officer.
He was an IAS officer. Yeah, and yeah.
He came to visit me also once in my room.
Yeah, I mean, he has visited and gave lectures also. Yes.
He could only find me, so he came and spoke to me, and he told me about Professor Rao, Professor Atri.
He has a great affection with.
Actually, he's having some rare photographs with Professor Seshadri. And Professor Seshadri's daughter, so God approached him for writing autobiography.
So,
Sunil?
Yeah, परमार साहब को मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि वहाँ तो 4:45 बज रहे हैं सुबह के. I really appreciate your efforts.
My God.
Yeah.
It is.
So, thank you very much. And also, I try to just convey my thanks to the speaker.
Professor Parmar joined in the beginning itself. And,
Yes,
and
yes.
10 minutes before
Yes. Thank you for that. So it is 3:45 now.
Yeah. I told you this is what is belonging. This is what is called belonging to the place.
Yeah. And also we are thankful to Professor Khurana, Speaker Professor Kaushik, and all the people, and our Vice Chancellor sir. So, and our head of the department, because it is the last month we are as a head of the department. So really thankful for all the efforts, as Professor Kukreti has mentioned, that वो जो पानी का रुका हुआ पानी था वो आपने चला दिया, तो बहुत बड़ी बात है.
No, it's good to see all of us after a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say now good night for me.
So,
and we all need to thank
seeing all of you.
Singh Saab for
Thank you for
together.
Yes, ma'am, एक snapshot ले लीजिए, एक snapshot ले लीजिए.
मैं ले रही हूँ. I don't know, print screen मेरे को दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है, so I'm taking with this.
अरे रावत जी थे, रावत जी कहाँ चले गए?
रावत
आओ ना. ऑनलाइन आ जाओ, ऑनलाइन आओ.
अरे बाकी लोग बोलो अपना.
ये सामने बैठे हुए रावत साहब कहते हैं ऑनलाइन.
रावत साहब तो ऑनलाइन है सामने.
हैं?
क्या बात कर रहे हैं? श्रीकांत जी, आप रावत जी को नहीं पहचान रहे हो?
ये देखो
and I'm looking at
ये रिकॉर्ड में है और रिकॉर्डिंग भी हो रहा है.
Oh my God.
I'm also
not recording. कितने लोग थे?
रावत साहब आपके नाम के सामने दीन लगा हुआ है ना, तो दीन लोगों को पहचानते कम है जरा.
Okay.
अरे प्रोफेसर कौशिक भी है.
Professor Kaushik, please.
नमस्कार सर.
Please अपना video on कीजिए sir. Professor Kaushik is there?
Yeah, I think
video on
turn on the video.
सर नमस्कार.
Sir, हम आपको देखना चाहते हैं.
नमस्कार.
Okay. I am should be thankful to all that I am able to. Actually, I am able to see your faces.
Thank you.
कल की बात है, आवाज सुन रहे हैं आप लोग, कभी आए नहीं.
Okay. Thank you.
But we are not able to see you.
अच्छा. Okay, I don't know why.
कौशिक साहब बटन ढूंढ रहे हैं कहाँ था?
मुझे नहीं मिला.
एक्चुअली बटन ढूंढने के लिए पहले चश्मा ढूंढना पड़ता है ना.
चश्मा तो लगा हुआ है, चश्मा तो है.
किसी बच्चे को बुलाइए डॉक्टर साहब।
सर एक्चुअली कोविड होने के बाद ये एंटीबॉडीज की चमक है सब पर, वो दिखाई दे रही है। नेचुरल एंटीबॉडीज आर देयर, वी आर वैक्सीनेटेड नाउ। एनीवे, वंडरफुल,
बहुत अच्छा लगा। अपने दिन के
टाइम के बाद हम लोग से बात कर रहे हैं कैजुअली, इट लुक्स
पर्टिकुलरली अप्रैल में 10 के लिए बहुत गलत फेज निकला, तो उसके बाद अच्छा लगा सबसे मिलकर।
After a long time.
Yes, sir.
after a long time.
Remain safe and
After a long time, we will be able to see.
आपको देख नहीं पा रहे कौशिक साहब, आप मुझे देख पा रहे होंगे।
मैं देख रहा हूँ, मैं तो आपको देख रहा हूँ, आप देख रहे हैं। पता नहीं वही।
On your, I'll see if I can switch on.
मैडम कक्कर,
Yes, sir.
अगर आप लोग हमें अनुमति दें तो 1:30 से मेरी एक मीटिंग है डायरेक्टर के साथ।
बिल्कुल डॉक्टर साहब।
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
नमस्कार,
थैंक यू,
Thank you.
आप सभी को करना।
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
नमस्कार, नमस्कार,
नमस्कार
Bye. Thank you.
everybody,
नमस्कार।
Thanks everyone.
Thank you,
Yes.
Professor
Take
Kukriti.
care,
Thank you
take
very
care.
much.
Thank you.
Everybody should take
Okay.
care.
yes, hello Thiruvall.
Hello.